Now, Brett Favre will return later on this year to have his jersey retired, and we all know, and you just talked about it yourself, players, you enter a point of your career where there's contract negotiations, and sometimes those things go rocky and awry, and, the departure is not a great one. But, Brett Favre, the storied tradition in Green Bay, how is he going to be received once he comes back, especially knowing that Aaron Rodgers is now the guy?
When he comes back for the Hall of Fame induction, I don't think anyone's going to buy a ticket to come in there and heckle him or to say bad things. I think this will be a celebration for Favre, for his accomplishments, along with Ron Wolf, who's going into the NFL Hall of Fame this summer. Congratulations to Ron Wolf. Through Ron Wolf, Mike Holmgren, and Brett Favre, they brought championship caliber football back to Green Bay. And I think that's what gets lost in the moment is, okay, there are some scuffles with some contracts. There are some scuffles with whether he wanted to retire or whether he wanted to stay. And those things happen. But no one gets mad at the organizations when they cut guys before they're able to play out their 5 or 6 year contract. They cut them in year 2 or year 3. No one's mad at the organizations for making those decisions. And sometimes, and a lot of times as athletes, we get prejudged about the money we make, whether we're worth it or not. And he should not be judged on being 35 and being on the fence of retirement or coming back. And I think for the Packers fans, what satisfies them the most is you don't see it a lot. You played in Denver. You don't see a great quarterback come after John Elway. But after Favre left, they had another great one in the cooking pan ready to get started. And so when you're bringing a guy like Aaron Rodgers and you have that much success and you win championships and you're competing for championships and you go 15-1 one year, you kind of look at Favre a little different. Like, yeah, we don't need him. And who does he think he is? But had it not been for an Aaron Rodgers caliber quarterback to follow Favre, I think a lot of folks in that Green Bay fan base would have a different feeling towards Brett Favre. But when you're succeeded by just as much success and talent as you had before, it makes it easier to bash a guy who, along with those guys I mentioned, brought championship caliber football back to Green Bay. And by the way, he started over 200 and some games, which meant that this was a guy who was dedicated not only to his teammates, but to his fans, week after week after week. I mean, he was going to get his paycheck whether he took a week off or not. But I think it's tremendous that he started that many games under those many physical conditions that I watched him deal with over those years.
Pro, if you just joined us, once again, we're joined by Antonio Freeman, former Virginia Tech wide receiver, Green Bay Packers standout, Pro Bowler, and Super Bowl winner. Before we let you get out of here, give us one of those all-important stories that we normally don't hear about Brett Favre.
Wow. I mean, he just was automatic prankster. I mean, he was, some things aren't made for TV, and that locker room is such a sacred place, and I honor every moment in that locker room, but I'll keep it simple. I mean, this was back in the 90s, and we were having a team meeting, and there was a place you could go back in the day. I forget the name of the stores, and you could buy what was called fart smell. It was a little, like, cologne-like thing. If you drop a drop on it, it made the entire area smell like gas or eggs or rotten eggs. You get where I'm going, like a fart.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're having our meetings. And all of a sudden, the meeting room empties because of this smell. And when they finally get to the root of it, Favre is laughing the hardest, and his face is the reddest, and there's absolutely no consequences for anything that he's done. We just piled our way back into that locker room and got back to work. And it was at that moment I knew he was something special, because had anyone else dropped that stinky stuff in that hallway, it would have been a bad situation.
Well, and if you say something, Antonio, he's not throwing you the ball.
Hey, I'm not saying a word. I'm from Baltimore. I don't know if y'all saw that DVD. I don't snitch.
You probably could be like, hey, guys, that's my bad. Brett, I got your back, bro.
Nah, I kind of stay in my lane. I mentioned that earlier in the interview. I kind of stay in my lane. So, He didn't have to worry about me saying anything. But I was a young kid. I was just amazed that somebody could get away with disrupting the whole meeting room and setting us back 20, 25 minutes and just go on like nothing ever happened.
Well, I tell you what, not too many games can pull that off, and not too many in the game could actually pull off what Brett Favre has done. Play the game, accumulate accolades, retire, come back, retire, come back. He is by far one of the best to play the game in the NFL as a quarterback position. Antonio, thank you for joining the program.